So what I'm about to show you now is support showcase, artillery support. The thing is, in our game, we're trying not to fake anything. If player calls for artillery support in other games, it may mean that some absolutely fake shells will be created above the position player mark, and it will just drop down. But we actually trying to be as realistic as possible. So if I now actually call the rocket strike, these are not normal artillery, it's MLRS. So I just mark the target. I will now switch myself to soldier, which is few kilometers away, next to the artillery. We have the artillery is physically present few kilometers away. It's firing the rocket missiles all the way there. You can see them firing, traveling there on a ballistic curve. And now, when I switch back to original position and wait for a few moments, I will see the rockets actually coming. The thing is, they're traveling all the way there. It's several kilometers, so I actually have to. It's not like I mark it and it goes down. I have to sort of think how to use it. If there's a moving target, I would have to predict where it's gonna be. And of course, yeah, and now we actually can see it coming after it traveled all the way there. And yeah, enemy didn't stand a chance. And so I'm here, and the artillery was actually here, 3 kilometers away. Like each of these grid represents 1 kilometer. This is island of Stratis. It's actually one of the smaller. It's the smaller of the two. This is 8 by 8, but actually Lemnos, which I'm afraid we're not presenting here, it's 30 by 30.
Wow.
Yes. Let me continue with one feature, which is like this is something which this feature is actually already present in Operation Arrowhead, this real artillery. So let me now show something which is completely new for Arma 3. Like before in Arma, we featured infantry combat, vehicles, planes, helicopters. Now we actually opened a completely new dimension of combat, and that's underwater. You can see both of our islands are based on real Greek islands, and the Greek environment provides this beautiful opportunity. To this like you could also have holidays in this moment. You could go diving in your free time, except of the few Iranians around.
Diving with guns.
Sorry?
Diving with guns.
Yes. Yeah, this is actually underwater gun. It's specifically designed to fire underwater. You cannot take just a normal weapon for example, Kalashnikov and take it underwater. It just wouldn't shoot. So this is using supercavitating ammunition. Don't expect me to explain the physical background behind it. What we have here is SDV. It's Special Deployment Vehicle for basically sort of Navy SEALs. These guys are not Navy SEAls, but you can sort of expect a similar kind of operations. You can see this is also one of the newer technologies in Arma 3. It's render to target, also picture-picture, basically showing outside or rendering 3D worlds to some textures. You can see this shows different view because the one on the right shows periscope view. That's very important for this vehicle. It doesn't have any weapons. Well, except of one thing. If I now switch to commander seat, switch to periscope view, and it has laser designator. So imagine me hidden underwater, enemy not knowing I'm here. I could laser designate some target, call air support, and they would bring actually laser guided bombs to the target I marked, totally destroy it, and enemy wouldn't have any idea what hit them. Of course, that's not only what underwater stuff is about. Actually, there's a lot of combat, like infantry combat. In this mission, I will continue further. My task is to disarm underwater mine. You may know these sort of like ball-shaped ones. And of course, it's protected by Iranian divers. So I have to be very careful with the approach.
Is there any kind of story to the game?
Yes, the year is 2035, and sort of what used to be NATO and European Union is struggling to protect Europe against Iranian expansion. Iran is now heavily subsidized, or sorry, supported by China and Russia. So actually both factions are on the same technology level. You can now see I was engaged by Iranian divers. Problem with underwater environment is that as opposed to land environment, I can move up and down. So actually taking cover is very tricky. Here you can see after several complaints during Arma 2, we focused on making custom reload animations for every weapon. Like these details which sometimes which should be default in every game, so we're really trying to make them default in Arma as well.
I see the graphics have been improved as well quite a lot.
We're trying to be as immersive environment as possible. It also helps the fact that we selected the Greek island. It offers a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I can actually go up and disarm the mine. By the way, there might be actually some Iranian commandos around. Yeah, never mind. Let me continue to another thing which underwent really large graphical and also practical overhaul, and that is night. Like Arma 3 features totally dynamic weather and daytime, which is important because Arma since ever was not only about playing, but also about creating. The game features in-game actually mission editor, which community can use, community creators, and we are using it in-house. So you can say that community creators have same tools as we do. And so it's important for them to actually be able to set all these weather or daytime. This is actually bright night, and it's full moon, so it's you can see around quite well. I'm now playing as Iranian. You can see I've got different uniform, different weapon. What's important now, the weapons are now customizable. So for example now, I have a flashlight, but I can actually go to inventory screen, take the flashlight out, and put their infrared laser pointer. So when I switch to night vision, I have laser pointer. Yeah. This is important not only for targeting, but also I can, in a squad cooperation, I can show my squad mates where am I looking, where they should be looking.
Yeah.
Other thing we can see here are chemical lights. If you wouldn't have night vision and if it would be really dark nights, even without flashlight, this would be probably your only opportunity how to navigate in night. Problem is, enemy can see them as well, so also it can help you if you just throw them to frequently visited places and an enemy will reveal themselves. Another thing which we are really focused on in night is muzzle flashes. You can say, oh, something as default as muzzle flashes, like I fire a gun, it makes a sound, it makes a light.
Yeah.
But it's not only about the effect, it's got some practical outcomes as well. You can see when I'm firing, it lights up my surroundings quite prominently. So when I fire, I reveal my position to the enemy quite well.
Yeah.
But the weapon customization is now very important, because if I would install a muzzle suppressor on it, don't confuse it with silencer. The muzzle suppressor the weapon will be still as loud as before, but the thing is, there will be no light. So even when I will be firing, I will be invisible to the enemy. So yeah, all these things, if there are some visual improvements, we really want to make them actually practical as well. So it wouldn't be just some gimmicky feature. Let me switch to another showcase. Again, something new. It's sort of a bit smaller feature. It's about anti-personnel mines. Again, you ask about story. The thing is, in tradition, like before, in 2002, we had an expansion to Operation Flashpoint, which was called Resistance. It was all about guerrilla combat. And this, we want to recreate this again, to have focus on resistance fighters, to loot enemies, to scavenge any weapon possible, so you can actually gain advantage in another mission. And also guerrilla combat is about mines, about this unbalanced combat where you don't engage enemy directly. I'm now playing as Iranian weapons specialist. You see, I can detect mines around. If I would be just normal soldier, I wouldn't detect them that well. and also on a higher difficulty, there will be no user interface indication at all. So what we have now is tripwire mine. If I would cross this wire, I would most likely die. But I'm a weapon specialist, so I can actually disarm it. And by disarming it, I can actually then, I can actually take it, and I could use it against the enemy. Another mine, which is quite nasty, is a bounding mine. You can see it here. It's very tricky. It just doesn't explode. Let me trigger it by firing at it. You see, it jumps up, and so it won't damage just your legs. It really covers a large area, and it's very nasty if you would actually detect it. But yeah, since I'm a weapon specialist, I can also place my own mines. What I have here is Claymore Charge, the directional mine. You might probably recognize it. It's featured in many movies a lot. So yeah, for example, if I'm a sniper, I can cover my back with this. But also, yeah, it will be triggered by enemy, but I can activate it manually. And you can see the wooden targets, then stand a chance. Let me switch to another showcase. After several, again, complaints in Arma 2 with driving and how vehicle behaves, how they interact with the world, we implemented physics simulation for vehicles and for collisions with other objects. We recently added to the game, updated to physics 3. It may not be fully configured, but oh, sorry, I triggered. Sorry, yeah, wrong shortcut. Yeah. So yeah, all vehicles now will, like land vehicles, will feature physics simulation, and so they will actually, when colliding with other vehicles, they will behave more naturally. What we have now is Iranian vehicle. It may look like a car, but it actually weighs several tons. It's a sort of like small APC. You can see the large turret on it. It's operated from inside. So you may know from movies Humvee with some gun up on top of it, and the gunner is quite exposed. But since we are in the future, this is no longer the case. I can actually, you can see enemies ahead. I can just switch to a gunner seat, and this is the gunner seat. I'm safely hidden inside. I've got this optics. I can switch to actually thermal optics. Grenade, and I can engage the enemy from it. Like I can see them immediately. I can use grenade launcher. So you can see the technology plays a significant role in this game. Actually, this thermal optics, again, we are trying not to fake it. If we look here, the engine, since I was driving for a while, the engine is now heated up, same as a gun barrel. And now, if we would wait for a significant amount of time, like I'm talking about an hour or so, the enemies would start cooling down, and in a few hours, the dead bodies would be actually invisible in thermal optics. So yeah, even this, we are simulating properly.